So you want to know the truth about owning a franchise? I've got a lot to fill you in on. I have owned 2 franchise locations myself. I've hung out with a lot of franchise owners, and in this video, I'm going to share some secrets, some insider secrets about owning a franchise that you are not going to want to miss. Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Tariq Johnson. I built a multi-million-dollar franchise business with multiple locations in California and in Florida. And in this video, we're gonna talk about the truth about owning a franchise. I'm really excited to jump into this, so let's go ahead and jump in. Look, here's what I'll ask of you. I'm gonna be real with you, and I'm gonna give you some really juicy details that, quite honestly, people just don't share around franchising, either because they don't want to share, or it's because it's the franchisor who's trying to sell you a franchise, or it's a franchise consultant that's trying to sell you a franchise and they only make money by you actually buying a franchise. They don't make money if you don't buy a franchise. So a lot of people don't want to be real with you because they have this vested interest. I have no vested interest, so I want to be real with you. I want to share some juicy details. What I ask is that if you get some value out of this video, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps the channel a lot. Also, if you hit that little like button below, what it does is it tells the YouTube algorithm to show this video to more and more people. So it's the only thing that I ask of you. This content is completely free. You pay nothing for it. I'm going to share some insider secrets with you. So let's jump in. Oh, another benefit real quick is that I actually respond personally to all of the comments. So I would love for you to just drop me a comment below and tell me where you are in your franchise journey. Are you just watching this video for entertainment? Or are you actively looking at franchises? Or are you already a franchise owner? Tell me where you are in the journey, and I'd love to hear from you. So drop me a comment. And then last thing before we jump into the meat of the video and start talking about the truth behind owning a franchise is that there's already hundreds and hundreds of you that have grabbed my free ebook that I got. It's completely free, and you can get it at tariqjohnson.com. It's my 7-step blueprint to business profits in 60 days. And I really wrote this as a guide and a blueprint because my wife and I opened our franchise location in California, the very first one, put $300,000 on the table to get it open, and we were able to become profitable and start paying ourselves only our 2nd month of business, and geez, that was a massive relief. So I created that book to help you guys and give you a free resource so that you could learn exactly what I did step by step. So make sure you head to my website, grab that free blueprint, and hopefully it'll help you along your journey. Okay, so the first thing is your freedom. So I talk to a lot of people that reach out to me that want to buy a franchise or that own a franchise, and one of the most common reasons people want to own a franchise is because they want more freedom. They want more flexibility with their time, to be able to spend more time with their family, to not have to clock in and clock out at their job every day, or feel like they're on the hook and report to someone. But here's the thing with the franchise. You could get that added freedom and flexibility, and you likely will. But you have to be very careful because you can wind up becoming a slave to your business. And I know a lot of franchise owners and just business owners in general that really, really struggle with this. This is something that's really common for business owners, is that you can just become a slave to your business where you're there every day working 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And although you might have some freedom and flexibility and be able to show up when you want, that comes at a cost. Because if you allow yourself too much freedom and flexibility, your business can wind up failing. One of the benefits of working a job where you are accountable to someone and someone's looking for you to be there every day and to be on the calls and the meetings, when you own your own business and there's not that level of accountability, a lot of people fail there because they don't know how to have the discipline to manage their freedom. And I've seen people struggle and lose a lot of money because they didn't know how to be disciplined. So if routine, structure, discipline is something that you struggle with, maybe owning a franchise isn't for you. Another aspect to that is that you're always on the hook. You know, if something goes wrong in the business, well, You could be on a vacation with your family, you could be out doing something fun, and you get that phone call from one of your employees or something's happening in your business, and you might have to stop everything that you're doing and go deal with the issue or challenge that's happening in your business. Or you're spending time with your family and you're getting text messages from your employees. I mean, these are things that I dealt with. I mean, it happened very frequently, and I'm going to talk more about that in a little bit when I jump to the third point that I have. But it's just something to be very, very, very aware of, and the way to prevent it, or at least manage it, is be very strategic and tactical about what franchise location you buy. As an example, if you're buying a franchise that's only open Monday through Friday, it's going to be very different than if it's a franchise business that is like a food business. Like we had juice and smoothie stores. They were open 7 days a week. I mean, the only time we would really close is Thanksgiving and Christmas, I think, off the top of my head. Although that's 7 days a week that you're making sales and earning money and, allow yourself the opportunity to make more and more money, 7 days a week where something can go wrong. It's a really big issue that happens with franchise owners, and you've got to be aware of it. Real quick friendly reminder before we jump to number 2, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to go ahead and subscribe. All of my videos that I post are about franchise ownership and building wealth. And so I have, 12, 15, maybe 20 videos at this point, all about franchise ownership. So I'll link here the playlist, which has all of the franchise videos that I have created this far. I have a bunch of videos on investing because I've had my investment licenses for 13 years, managed over $100 million for my clients over the years. So let's jump into the next one. So the next one is that you have help from the franchisor, meaning corporate, but you don't know what you don't know. Here's the thing. One of my experiences when I opened the franchise locations and in owning the franchise locations is that if I was proactive and I went and asked the franchisor, again, the franchisor is corporate, if I went and asked them a question or asked them for help, they would help me. I mean, that was something that was a great resource to have. Like, if I needed advice on something or needed to brainstorm some marketing strategies or needed assistance on how to get my cost of goods down, anything, I could go and ask them, and they were a great resource. But if you don't know what to ask, you don't get the answer. So I was very proactive. I mean, I read books on franchising, I read books on hiring, I read articles on hiring, on managing employees. I mean, I took a lot of initiative and I was very proactive. I think a lot of people, when they start to get involved in a franchise, and I don't think this, I know this because a lot of you guys reach out to me, and I actually coach and work with franchise owners and business owners. And what happens is people wind up reaching out to me. The most common when people reach out to me is after they signed up for a franchise, and they realize that they're not getting all of the answers that they want. They realize they don't have any experience in actually owning a business. And so what happens is they reach out to me and they want my help. And how do I run my business? How do I do this? The franchise company, the franchisor, they could have 50, 100, 200, 500 different franchise owners that they're dealing with. So they don't really have the staff or the wherewithal to be reaching out to every single person individually like, hey, what do you know about his business ownership? What do you know about business ownership? That's just not the way that it works. That's the reality of owning a franchise. So if you're not highly proactive and taking initiative and learning and trying to figure out ways that you can grow your business and hire employees and retain the best employees and bring on the best employees and manage your cost and grow your sales and figure out a way to create systems within your business beyond what the franchise company is teaching you, then you might struggle and your business might not wind up being as successful as you want it to be. So this one is now going back to the point that I talked about, which is be careful of your time and the freedom and flexibility. And it's basically that you can never truly call out sick, and you're really never on vacation. Once you have your business open for 3 or 4 or 5 years, that might be a little bit different, but it depends. Some people are very bad at delegating. Some franchise owners are terrible. They don't trust other people. They won't allow them to do things and handle the cash in their business or run payroll because they have trust issues. And the less you delegate, the less that you're able to figure out a way to trust other people in your business, the more your business relies on you. The more your business relies on you, the more you actually bought a job and are not running a business. The more you're self-employed and you're not actually a business owner. And look, this is a struggle. It's something that I struggled with from the beginning. Here's what forced me out of it. Two things. One, I was still working full-time after opening my franchise as a financial advisor. I love the financial services industry. I've done it for a long time. I love helping people. And so my plan in opening up our franchise location was never to be full-time in franchise ownership, although we could have done that if I wanted to. It created additional income streams and was able to continue to build wealth and invest and so on and so forth. That's a whole nother video. I had to be very strategic, and I had to give up the reins to allow and trust my team to be able to handle things. And then after 8 months of having our franchise business in California, we moved to Florida. So I had to allow and give up more reins to my employees to be able to do things. But here's the thing. Issues would happen in the business, and I would get text messages late at night, or I'd be out with my family doing something and get a call that an emergency is happening. The food truck didn't show up, or it showed up, but the stuff, everything melted, or an employee didn't show up to work and now they're short-staffed, there was all sorts of issues and problems that happened. And let me be fair, there were times where I didn't hear a peep for weeks and everything ran smoothly and I didn't really have to deal with or worry about anything. But it seemed like when a fire would come up in the franchise business, it would happen at the most inopportune times, and it would affect what I was doing with my family. I remember about a few months ago, before we sold the California location, my wife and I went to Disney Springs, and we were there with our little son, who's about to be 2 years old soon, and we were enjoying a nice lunch, and an issue happened with an employee, and I got wrapped up in the text messages, and they were arguing with my store manager, and then we were just like, all right, let's just cut this employee loose. Let's let them go. But then California has specific labor laws. I don't need to bore you in the details, but all you need to know is that it affected the quality of life. So that's one of the realities of owning a franchise. But depending upon the type of franchise that you own will depend on the magnitude of that. The systems that you put in place in your franchise will depend on how that affects you. The reality is you can put systems in place so that your manager or whoever's running your business can handle those sort of situations. One of the benefits that you should really take advantage of with owning a franchise is putting yourself in a position where you can have freedom and flexibility. All right, so here's another reality with owning a franchise. Some franchises never make money. Some franchises are never profitable. Just because it's a franchise business, yes, you do have a higher probability and likelihood of succeeding because there's a proven system in place. But there are some franchises that just never become profitable. And that's not the franchise or the brand's fault. Sometimes owners are just bad owners. Just like I'm sure you've worked with people that are just bad employees or bad staff or team members. It just is what it is. And the reality is you could buy the best franchise in the world. And let's say, for example, you bought a Jersey Mike's, which has a great track record, and Jersey Mike's is all over the country. They have hundreds, if not thousands of locations. I don't know off the top of my head. But if you buy a Jersey Mike's franchise, and then you basically do nothing, you kind of go in every once in a while and you don't put in a lot of effort, and you buy a poor location, or you pick a poor location, then your business may not be successful. There's a lot of factors that go into whether a franchise will actually succeed or not, or be profitable. And all of that starts with you. It starts with the franchise that you pick. It starts with the effort that you actually put into the franchise. It starts with how proactive you are. It starts with the type of work ethic that you have. What location do you pick? The type of staff. You can take a mediocre franchise or location, but if you have someone that just really has that it factor, that is willing to go above and beyond, and their work ethic is impeccable, and they're willing to find out the best strategies to succeed in the business, then they can be successful, even if it's a mediocre brand. But you can take the best brand and someone could still totally flop. The other part is that some franchises, the resale value is absolutely terrible. So if you put $250,000 up to open a franchise and you're only pulling in 10, 20 grand a year in profits, and you go to sell that franchise a year or two later, guess what? Franchises tend to sell for a multiple of the earnings. Meaning, if let's say it sells for 3 times the earnings, if you're making $20,000 a year, then theoretically it sells for $60,000. And so depending upon the industry, it depends on the multiple. If you don't like it and you wind up investing in a franchise and putting up $250,000 and you're like, whoa, I made a terrible decision, I want out, it could be really hard to sell. The only way you sell could be taking a significant loss. It's possible you get lucky, and I don't want to say lucky because luck is when preparation meets opportunity. The reality is sometimes it just takes a while for the business to actually make money. If you're investing in a franchise, make sure you're in it for the long term, and make sure you have plenty of savings and cash set aside, because if it takes some time for that business to get ramped up, you need to be in a position where you can weather the storm. Not every business, not every franchise is an overnight success. Although our business was profitable in the first 2 months, we were very strategic, and there were some ducks that kind of lined up for us that helped make it happen. Again, if you want some insights into that, make sure you get my 7-step blueprint to business profits in 60 days. It's completely free, and I'll break down exactly how we did that. Because if we could do it, then you can do it too. Now, I hope this video didn't come off too negative or sound like I was criticizing too much the franchise opportunity. The reality is that there are over 770,000 franchise establishments in the United States as of 2019. You got brands like McDonald's, KFC, Marriott, some of the biggest brands that you know, Pods, like there's so many, the UPS store. So many of these brands are franchises, and they're all over the place. But just because you see them all over the place doesn't mean they're making money, doesn't mean they're doing well. You know, owning a franchise is a great opportunity. There are so many successful franchisers. There's many people that have gotten really wealthy with franchises. There are many people that have just created freedom and left their corporate job and were able to have the freedom and flexibility to spend time with their family and not have to deal with the frustrations of working for someone else. And there are a lot of people that have just been able to supplement their income, continue doing the work that they like or owning the business that they like, and just able to supplement their income with the franchise and build it as a retirement plan. So owning a franchise is a great opportunity. If you're interested in learning more about owning a franchise, you can always reach out to me. Send me a message over on my website, or you can always apply for my coaching. I only work with a very limited amount of people. But yeah, any questions that you have, drop me a comment below. Shoot me an email at info@tariqjohnson.com, or hit me up on my website. There's so many ways that you can reach out to me, but I hope this video was helpful. And if you found it helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.